Hello, and welcome back to the Ark of E podcast. My name is Noah.
And my name is Gav.
And we're the Blanchard brothers, back with you to finally wrap out that year that just happened.
Yeah.
2021, I think it was.
This is our way of keeping it going longer, which is exactly how 2021 felt.
This is the honest man's year in review because, again, we're not professional critics, so we don't get to see all of this shit for free. We have to wait like peasants, like normal everyday moviegoers to get our hands on some stuff.
We got jobs. So, we can't be storming the Capitol and shit like that. I mean, we got jobs to go do.
Because obviously we would have been there if we didn't have to work.
We would have been selling stuff. We would have been selling duct tape to put over your phone lenses. Because how are you going to commit crimes on camera and then be complaining when you get sent to prison?
I don't know. We haven't gotten topical in a bit. I've been a little tapped out of the news because I've been busy catching up on all these movies, man. And also, did you know?
We're about to go to war? World War III is about to happen? Yeah, I know.
Did you know there's like 7 really good TV shows all running at the same time right now?
I know. I'm stoked.
It's a lot. Mm-hmm. But we're here to talk about the movies from last year.
Right.
The stuff that you might be hearing more about because Oscars just got nominated. Of course, we'll have our predictions episode very, very soon. Mm-hmm. But more on that later. We're here to nail down our individual top 10 list of the best films of 2021. On the whole, I was looking at my list today. I basically keep a log of everything I saw. I saw 69 features. That's not counting... Nice. That's not counting documentaries. Okay, I separated that out. Now, if I put the docs in the mix as well, we're in the 80s probably. But
it works.
Anyways, of those 69, I would say my top 40 are like solid good to great to fantastic to I got a handful of masterpieces out there. Mm-hmm. I think compared to last year, I think 2021 much better overall. Personally, the stuff I saw than 2020. So
we got to see some movies in theaters. They may or may not be on our lists, but we saw some movies in theaters, which was nice. We will basically all we're here to do is we're going to talk you through our list, and we are going to highlight where you can find these because pretty much everything is available for. There's definitely 1 or 2 that are still strictly theatrical only, but almost all of these are on VOD or on a streaming service or will be very soon. Mm-hmm. So, and we're going to basically advocate for why you should check them out. Yeah. I don't know who wants to go first. I'm going to defer to you. You got your notebook open. I do.
You're locked and loaded. I don't even have my notes up yet, so you should definitely open. Give me your number 10. Favorite film of 2021. We're getting into it. No preamble.
Let's do it. My number 10 is Army of the Dead, available on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
From Mr. Zack Snyder, who had another notable release. Was
Indeed.
that 2021?
It was. It's what happens, dude. Ever since this damn pandemic, we roll through shit, and then we turn around and we're like, wait, that was this year? Because we were talking about Judas and the Black Messiah and The Little Things last January. But it feels like we talked about those movies decades ago now. But they were technically 2021 releases. It's weird. I mean, I love the early access on HBO Max, don't get me wrong. But it also, we get to these things and I'm like, shit, that was only this year. It feels like it's been forever.
Yeah, that movie in particular feels like it was forever ago.
It's the little things, Jimmy. It's the little things that make it feel like it's forever.
Is that coming up on this list?
No, God no.
You rated it like a 9 at the time, I think.
Yeah, well, things change. Better stuff comes out. It gets pushed back.
Cooler heads prevail, perhaps?
Maybe.
Okay. Anyways, go revisit that episode.
Yeah.
Hotly debated film that I haven't heard anybody mention one word about since it came out. Okay. Other than, didn't Jared Leto get an Oscar nomination for that?
No, for Gucci.
No.
That year? Yeah, he did, I thought.
Didn't he get a supporting nom for that?
I think so.
Oh, bad choice.
Yeah.
See, again, bad year. Mm-hmm. Bad year 2020.
Yeah.
Not just for the movies, but
what happened
but
at the
mostly
Oscars.
for the movies. I'm just kidding. Okay. Army of the Dead
Yes.
was my number 42. So I would say my top like 44, I feel pretty good about. I really enjoyed Army of the Dead.
Me too.
I had a great time with it.
It's amazing
We
to
talked
me.
about it at the time. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
sorry.
no, I mean, you, all this stuff I see with stuff coming out now, and you tell me that there's a member of that movie that was never on the same set as anybody else. I mean, it wasn't that long ago they were worried about how to put the sound and the image together, and now you don't even have to be in the same fucking place. I mean, what a time to be alive, man.
You don't even have to be the same age. You don't even have to show up. I
No.
mean, I know we're not talking about Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, yeah, no. You get a credit just for. I mean, I'm sure Mark Hamill is loving that residual check. It's his likeness. I mean, he's getting that money, baby. That's all it's about. But, yeah. So, I love the contained story of it all because I'm a little burnt out on, oh my God, it's the zombie apocalypse. What are we going to do in this new world? It's like, nah, it's just this place. And if you can get in and get out, you could get rich. Is it worth dying for? I don't know. Let's find out.
Did you watch the prequel sequel?
No, I need to. The heist, the guy with the safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dieter,
Yeah.
who was arguably the most enjoyable like side character. I did not watch it either, but I thought you might have.
I have to go back and check it out.
Okay. Cool. Army of the Dead, you're number 10.
Put Dave Bautista in more stuff. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, he seems to be doing just fine.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
He's out there. My number 10, which I immediately, I hope you tell me to table it, but who knows? My number 10 is the fourth film in a beloved by me, maligned by many franchise called The Matrix. And this particular film is called The Matrix Resurrections. Should I put it on the table?
No, we can talk about it.
Well, yeah, but you can tell I've been holding off.
Uh-huh.
We've teased discussing it, but you and I have not said word one about how you felt about it.
I thought we talked about this after it came out.
No, not in any kind of detail, and not on mic.
That must have been out, yeah.
You had not seen it when I,
Yeah, because you did
when I was
theater.
there for Christmas. Yeah, no, because I saw it Thursday night before it opened. So the 22nd, because I think it opened on the 23rd. And I went to the theater for this one.
Yeah. I think I watched it the same night it came out, same day it came out, but we just didn't talk about
Well,
it.
I mean, obviously it didn't crack your top 10.
Yeah.
But how'd you feel about it overall?
It was, to me, the best meditation, up until I saw Scream 5, on commenting on modern trends in cinema inside of a established filmic universe. It doesn't shit talk anything that was set up before. It doesn't trample on anything that was made, and it doesn't make you upset. It doesn't say you're stupid for liking what came before, but it just gives you a new perspective on what it may have meant at the time for you. At least to me it does, with the meditations on revamping a franchise. And anytime you hear anybody talk about anything in a movie these days about movie making and media and how we perceive it now, it's all quote unquote meta, and it's all just this is what we think about what we're doing now. And it's one of the better ones I've seen when it comes to that.
That is definitely one of the big narratives of this year and a big trend in movie making in general. I almost want to do a giant deep dive podcast, and I want to get the brothers Blanchard on here as well. I think a 4-man pod on kind of jumping off of Scream 5, for instance, but a conversation about the recent Lego sequels, remakes / reboots, these franchise, everything kind of being recycled, but how many have been successful, the tropes, the pitfalls, etc. I think there's a lot to mine there.
We titled the episode Filmed for Franchises, and we talk about how everything in this day and age is not made as a single one-off. There's a few of the one-offs on my list that I really enjoyed, and I don't have to see anything else about them. I don't care to. What you did in that movie was perfect, but we can talk about how everything now is set up for franchise and serialization, and then delve into what you're talking about with bringing things back from the past, because you and I got a little heated about nostalgia a couple times a little while ago. And so,
yes, that's why I think I think it'd be a very interesting topic
Right.
to explore with those guys,
Mhm.
and it would also mean I finally have to watch Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I have not done yet.
Me neither.
Okay, and you were so hyped about it at the same. Okay,
I was hyped about the trailer and how I felt.
Okay.
It didn't mean I was like in love with Ghostbusters and we should resurrect the franchise.
to branch off and get back to my pick for a second.
Okay.
First trailer for this drops. I'm on cloud nine.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm so amped at all of the possibilities. My brain is on fire just with where it could possibly go. And sitting down in the theater that night, when it basically reveals itself for, like you're saying, it's like, okay, this is going to be like maybe the most meta movie ever made, except for another movie that might appear on my list a little later, but might surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
I love that it could have been like a winky, like 2-second nod,
Mm-hmm.
but it totally wasn't. And it dwelled in it, and it became so much a part of the narrative. I enjoyed that way more than like kind of just glancing at it or wherever, like, oh, this was a fun one-off joke or whatever. But like, no, we're going to have like basically one of my favorite montages of the year, the Alice montage, essentially.
Right.
The feed your head montage.
Mm-hmm.
And also the first chunk of this movie in particular, but the whole thing. I honestly feel like this is like the best fucking Keanu and the most dialed in he has been. Even more so than Wick, which I love him in, but like, and there's, again, because of the metatextual stuff, I can't remember if you and I talked about this. I've talked about it with a lot of people, but like the first like sit down coffee scene with him and Carrie Ann Moss, because I have the movie has been like inviting me to think in a metatextual way the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
When he has the thing of, she's like, oh, did you ever have kids? And he's like, no, never did. And I'm thinking about like now I'm having like a deja vu.
I could have swore we talked about this
on mic, probably
at some point.
Okay,
Doesn't matter.
I'm
It's
just repeating.
It's just affected 2021.
I'm just
it's just how the
repeating my
movie does
spiel.
it. That's fine.
But that, like, so much emotion. I was so excited to see these characters again. I loved the new characters that were introduced. I know it was not what a lot of people wanted from a sequel at this point, but I loved that it kind of refused to, like, oh, we're just going to quietly ignore the, like, sequels that people were kind of, like, mixed to, like, ultra negative on and kind of, like, soured everybody on the whole idea of them even making more.
But we're going to throw them in there. You'll see them.
But
because they matter.
Exactly. The commitment to everything matters. We're still sticking with the lore we've established, all of that. The fact that you've got Niobe there in old age makeup and stuff, like all of that, as it was revealed first time in the theater, was just mind-blowing. And I had to reinvestigate because I was like, all right, man, you were amped to see that. It pretty much delivered for you personally. I loved every single choice she made, basically. Mm-hmm. And I get that, again, that's not what a lot of people maybe just wanted, a more straightforward, like, just show me Keanu Reeves doing some action. And I think there was people who were like, oh, he barely fights, and like he didn't even pick up a gun, and like, et cetera, et cetera. I love Jonathan Groff, NPH, who I thought was fantastic in the front half, and the first time through had issues with in the back half. No spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, but I even warmed to that on a second time. Rewatching it on HBO Max right before it left confirmed for me that, like, no, I love this. It is probably my second favorite of the franchise, right behind the first one, and I think will remain for me a sterling example of, like, if we're gonna continue to recycle stuff, let's do it in the most ballsy, interesting, fucking inventive way we can think of. And I thought this movie did that on all fronts. It didn't feel compromised in any way. There's elements of it that are weird as shit, and I love that about it.
Just dwelling on that, we can say spoilers here for a split second. When you were being fed the montage, and you were being fed essentially what they were trying to tell you this story was, did you have a second thought at all, or were you like, nah, this isn't legit, like there's gonna be a ball drop soon? Because there were times and I was like, oh, they just like caramelized all the sequels into this one particular thing that this guy did. And even if that's what they do, and they do a legit like what they did in the first one, taking him out of there again, and like it's like, oh no, you dreamed all this happening.
As soon as
I was like, you can do the same shit you did from the first one right now,
as soon
and
as
I'll
we
still
see
love
the
it.
inside of that office and we see like the McFarlane toys that I had stuff from Reloaded, specifically like the Merovingian palace sequence where he does the cool kick,
Right.
and like the dude is breaking through part of the stone marble. I had that set in my room
Right.
for at least a year, in like right when the sequels were coming out. And so as soon as I saw that, I was just like, where are we, like, what are they ultimately going to say? And I love that, like, she just toys with that, all of that stuff. And then the payoff of Bugs, again, great fucking new character.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm like, I know they're not going to make more of these, but I so would watch like 5 or 6 more Matrix movies
Right.
coming out of this personally. But the scene where Bugs essentially, he's like, oh, so everything I did, in the end, my big gambit with the machines, like, it was all basically for nothing. Like, it didn't fucking matter. She's like, no, it all fucking mattered. And I'm like in the theater, like, I got fucking like super emotional. Again, he's ultra engaged. Carrie-Anne Moss kind of like taking over the back half. I absolutely loved when she gets to finally like become Trinity again. I was like, on the edge of my seat, dude. The whole the final chase with like the swarm, isn't like the falling zombie bombs essentially, just great stuff. And again, I know people were like, it didn't reinvent action cinema, and I'm like, oh come on, if that was the bar for this thing, like,
I feel
get
like
your priorities
I feel
straight.
like
That's
she
what I'm
was
saying.
like,
On a
that's what they're gonna want from me.
Exactly.
I need to
And
pivot and be like, I did that already 20 years ago.
But to openly acknowledge it
Right.
in the movie and
Right.
basically call it out is so fucking ballsy to me.
Yep.
I'm just like, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved every fucking choice. Everybody seemed to come to play. Dude, particularly Groff as the new Agent Smith. Killer performance. Like, in a Just World, he's at least in the consideration for supporting actor. And in a Just World, also Keanu is in consideration for best actor. I fucking love this. I know it wasn't for everybody. It's my number 10. Went a little long on that one. Apologies. Your number 9.
My number 9 is a movie that we've discussed, but I went back and rewatched, and I enjoyed the shit out of it, and I cannot wait for the next one. My number 9 is Mortal Kombat.
Okay. Hell yeah. This is in my good section from the year. If you'd like to know exactly where it is, number 44. This was the last. When you move past this,
I just made the cut. I got 2
when
in
we
the
move
top
past
40.
this, we get to a movie that I'm pretty sure is in your top 10.
I'm sure.
But I do not consider good. So
Oh.
I'm very curious. Okay, Mortal Kombat. We did a pretty
Yeah,
substantial
we did,
review
yeah.
on it. I recommend people go check that out. But yeah, throw out your
Oh no! Again,
pitch
it just
for anybody who hasn't checked it out.
it's I mean, it's everything that I think modern day fans of the video game would want, but also kids who grew up with it in the 90s, where you couldn't have blood on your Super Nintendo version; you had to turn it on and off. They loved it too.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about who do you go get to be Johnny Cage. We talked about on there. You sent me the thing about the actor who plays Kano having to go in the hospital for back surgery because he carried the whole damn movie. And I read that thinking, oh my God, never mind. He's okay. This is a joke article. But I was concerned because the guy who plays Kano fucking kills. And like that dude
Can't
should
wait
be-
for more of him.
Yes, more him.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it has dropped yet. Sorry to interrupt. But dude who plays the new, like, not character guy in this,
Yeah.
the main character, though, cannot think of the actor's name off the top of my head right now. Sorry.
I've seen him in something else recently too.
He is in a new Netflix action, adventure, fantasy, martial arts movie, along with Uko Iwase from The Raid, and a third guy that we also like, whose name I cannot remember. But I will watch it simply because the three of them are in it. But I'll figure out the name and tell
Louis
you.
Tan.
Louis Tan is the actor, yes.
And that's right. He was Wu Assassins. I forgot about that.
Oh, was he in there as well?
Mm-hmm. Fistful of Vengeance. Is that what you're talking about on Netflix?
Yes, that is it.
Okay.
That is definitely it.
Why do I feel like I've seen this before? Oh, maybe it's because...
I think it comes out like this week. They've been promoting it, like in my suggested.
Was this like...
I don't mean to get you sidetracked. That's a 2022 movie.
Was there a is this a sequel to something? Like, was there a movie before this? Because I feel like I've seen these two before in something as well.
I don't think so. Maybe they were in Wu Assassins together. I never finished that show.
Maybe it is Wu Assassins I'm thinking of.
Okay. Maybe this is like a spin-off movie. I don't know. I think it's something completely different. Mortal Kombat was good. It was very, very fun.
Yes.
Watched it twice. Enjoyed it both times. And
Oh,
that's another one that I guess will live on HBO Max eventually.
Let me read this.
Okay.
Fistful of Vengeance will see the Wu assassin team
reunite
in Bangkok to avenge the death of one of their own, only to find a new enemy in the... Yeah, okay, so it's
a Wu Assassins movie. So maybe
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll try and just dive in, even having not finished the series.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and finish the series now.
I just want to see some cool fights.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Are you like refilling that? Because I feel like you've had the same amount of alcohol.
Well, I put one of those long, skinny ice cubes in it.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a sipping whiskey too. I'm not taking like huge pulls.
I should have brought you some of the ones. One of my members gave me a bottle of whiskey for Christmas. It's an Irish whiskey.
Bring it on.
Dad
Spread it on.
Dad did a shot with me the other night. Like he sipped it and he shot it all. He's like, I was like, whoa, okay.
He's been practicing with Paul.
Probably.
Okay. My number 9, is that what we're doing?
Yep.
My number 9 is now a Best Picture nominee. A double nominee, actually. It's also up for Best Foreign Language Film. It's called Drive My Car.
Okay.
This one, I believe, is going to be on HBO Max in March 3rd, I believe. I just saw it recently. So people will be able to actually spend more time with it. If you haven't heard about it yet, it's a 3-hour drama set in Japan about a actor turned theater director who's going through a rough patch, that's all I'll say, and is working on an adaptation of Uncle Vanya, the Chekhov play. And while he is working on this, he is assigned, I don't want to go into too much detail, he's assigned a driver because he's having trouble driving, basically.
Oh, okay.
But he's assigned a driver, and it's a bit about their relationship, stuff that was going on with him. Again, 3-hour drama that's subtitled. I know is not like oh my God, I can't wait to spend time with that. And I do wonder how it will play at home versus like in a theater when you're locked in with it, which is part of why I was glad I got to see it on the big screen. But yeah, it's a quiet movie. It's its own vibe, its own rhythms. It was beautiful. Some great fucking performances. Don't want to say too much more about it, but maybe you will take the journey. Because I think you would get a lot out of it, and I think we could have a much deeper conversation. But we'll kind of save that one until it's available for more people to see on HBO Max. But again, it is nominated for Best Picture and Best Foreign Language. And another good sign overall is that the director, Ryusuke Hamaguchi, was nominated as well. So check it out. You're gonna be hearing about it at least for another couple months as award season continues on. It's already been the dominant. It's the one foreign language one to see if you're gonna only watch one of the bunch. But that's Drive My Car. That's my number 9.
Alrighty. So you ready for my number 8?
Yeah.
My number 8, Noah would be giving sweets to the sweet. My number 8 is Candyman.
Okay. Another movie that we covered in some detail, and you and I kind of went opposite ways on. So I'll let you have your say on this one. Go right ahead.
Again, until Scream 5, Candyman to me was the way to And you could say Scream 5 is its own thing with what it does to an already established universe. Nobody saw Candyman: Farewell to the Flesh. Nobody saw the third one. But to update a horror movie, keep it in its roots, and keep the original that was so different and so integral to, like, to me, 90s horror, like, to keep that at the focal point of this new thing and to link it together the way it does. I don't know if that's writing or if that's just good filmmaking overall. I don't know who you want to say gets the credit for it, but I enjoy the shit out of it. And it's one of those to where, it's kind of like it's like Jaws or like Michael Myers. Like, you don't see Candyman all that much, but there's enough said and enough things done that make you, terrified of knowing what's going to happen. And again, to me, it all goes back to a simple premise of don't fucking say that name in a mirror. It's that easy, but people do it, and to me, that speaks to horror at its core. Like, oh, I get scared of horror movies. Oh, why do people do that? It's like, we're all afraid of, like, the unknown, the other side of the mirror, what's out past the campfire we can't see, but, like, here what to do to, like, never have to deal with that, but yet you do. What does that mean? What is the power of a name? You know what I mean? So I thought it was really executed very well.
My argument at the time was, which I still very much stand by, I think it is impeccably directed by Nia DaCosta. I think the performances are pretty fantastic across the board, particularly Yaya, of course, and Coleman Domingo.
Oh, yeah.
I think it has a great sense of atmosphere. Sound design is incredible. There's some great set pieces. It really loses me in the third act, and I think it's a script thing, and I also have some problems earlier on, but we discussed those. I'm not going to reiterate
you can go
them.
back and listen to the episode.
But it is a movie that I look forward to rewatching and seeing if those things I still brush up against, or now that I kind of know the mode that it's in, if it feels better a second time around. But I do, I didn't hate it. I had issues with it,
right?
But I liked a lot. I wanted to love it, and I just didn't. And that was my thing with that one. But I do want to see it again. Is it streaming anywhere now? I think it's still just a rental on VOD. Still a rental.
When it does come to being just
I feel like it'll probably be up on a streamer by this coming Halloween. Maybe we can reassess. But I do think in the legacy requel territory, a pretty solid entry, even though the original is underrated classic in my opinion. So okay, my number 8 is Mass. Have we talked about this one at all?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Doesn't sound familiar.
Mass is probably the hardest. I'm going to say it's the hardest film to recommend on my list. It is the epitome of a one and done. I will probably never watch this movie again. It's directed by Fran Kranz, a name you might recognize. He's an actor who you've seen in some stuff. I'm going to point you towards Cabin in the Woods.
Oh.
He is the fool, the one who survives to the end.
Oh, okay.
That's Fran Kranz. He wrote and directed this film, which is about two sets of parents meeting together years after a tragedy involving both of their sons. That's all I'll say.
I feel like I've heard about this.
Because part of the movie and the experience of watching it is you're essentially seeing this conversation, which is going to be tension-filled just because of kind of the mood and the air as the movie is set up in kind of the opening 10, 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're essentially locked into this conversation in real time for about an hour and a half. And it's just flat out, I'm just going to say as a cast as a whole, these are the best performances I saw all year. You got Martha Plimpton, the great Martha Plimpton. She was more of an 80s or not. I guess she feel like she bleeds into the 90s as well. You'll recognize Martha Plimpton. It's you got Jason Isaacs in there. Reed Birney, who I've seen in a billion things but was not as familiar with, and Ann Dowd, who you'll be very familiar with.
You can't go wrong with Ann Dowd.
Exactly. A Murderer's Row, casting-wise, and just some of the best performances, some of the best acting you will ever see. But it is also, it was the most emotionally taxing movie of the year by a long shot. It's not a fun watch, but it manages to deal with some very, very heavy subject matter with just like the perfect tone. I don't know how else to describe it. It's so natural and real and honest and complicated, and it's fucking brilliant. I don't know. But that's Mass. It's available on VOD right now. I feel like this one's probably going to move over to Hulu. They seem to pick up a lot of the indies, so look for it there. But yeah.
What did I just see Martha Plimpton in?
I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, Goonies is where everybody would probably know her from.
Yes, I was trying to think of her biggest 80s one. But yeah, of course, Goonies.
Maybe it was in a TV show or something. Interesting.
But yeah, Mass. That was my number 8.
All right. My number 7 is a little Netflix movie called The Harder They Fall.
Excellent pick.
I loved every minute of it.
Same.
I'm waiting for the next 3 sequels. Fucking stellar performances from everybody. When there's very few Westerns that you watch and you're just like, please don't let this dude die. You know? It's like, obviously, you know, everybody loves Bill Paxton, but you know he's going to die in Tombstone if you know anything about what happened in Tombstone. But this, it was just like, okay, but I love this dude. Like, I love Lakeith Stanfield. I love him. Why's he got to be on that side?
Yeah,
Why can't
exactly.
he be
But
a
he's
good guy?
but he's one of the bad guys.
He's one of the fastest guns in the West. And when you find out why, you're like, no, that's not fair. You asshole. But I still love you. What? No. And everything about it, dude. Like, you could not.
Great action set pieces. Just a blast.
Fucking blast.
Stylish as hell.
Yes.
Great soundtrack. Great performances.
Everybody
all around.
killing it left and right. The female, the cat fight, if you want to call it that.
Oh, I said it's the best knockdown, drag out
Yes.
female fight since the trailer fight in Kill Bill Volume 2. Yeah. By far. I mean, I'm sure. Is there another one that I'm not thinking? I know somebody's going to want to throw in like the Fast and Furious fights between like Michelle Rodriguez and Ronda Rousey or Gina Carano or whatever. But
no thanks. No.
But yeah, no, that again, Kill Bill Volume 2, that's the bar of recent until this one, which I legit thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
And they both survived.
I know, that's the best part.
Yes.
I cannot.
So I demand a sequel.
Me too.
Please let it's James Samuels, I think.
Yes.
Is the director. I believe that's a debut feature as well.
I know.
Give me more of that, please. That was really fun. Delroy Lindo.
Yeah.
Dude, if I could get a Delroy Lindo Netflix movie every year, like
with Jonathan Majors in it or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we just get the two of them doing something together every year, preferably directed by Spike Lee, but you know, I'll take whatever. Boots Riley, if your next movie, if you want to, get the two of them together, that would be cool.
Is Boots
Sorry
Riley?
to bother you.
Sorry, buddy. Okay, that's what I thought.
Which is about to be on Netflix newly. I just saw
I
it.
cannot
It's
wait for
coming in.
more
So
people to watch that movie. More people.
I feel
need
like
to
it
go
hasn't
see
been on Netflix
No,
in its rounds
only
yet.
It's only been on
so
Prime.
I look forward to see if that jumps up into the top 10, because that is the type of movie. If you see it, like, you might check it out on a whim, and then you're gonna shout it to your friends. It is one of those, unfortunately, now that you're gonna be like, oh, fucking Armie Hammer, like,
Fuck that, dude.
But
like, that's fine.
But
like,
it also works because he plays a complete piece of shit. That movie.
What is it? Equisapien?
Dude, don't
just think of that.
Spoil it for people.
Think of that.
But yes, one of the most brilliantly batshit movies.
Fucking Steven Yeun in that? Like, come on.
Incredible.
You forget about him. Like, there's such good shit in that movie, man. I want to see more people's reaction to it.
I'm sure we will. Just keep an eye out for that on film Twitter and Facebook, etc. Okay. The Harder They Fall. Excellent pick. My number 7. Are we gonna have our first thing that gets put on the table? I don't know.
We'll see.
Mine is it's a sequel.
Okay.
to a long running franchise. Maybe the longest franchise? Yeah, they gotta be. There's no time to die, baby.
Yeah.
Table it?
No, keep talking. It's fine.
All right. I loved it, man.
Yeah.
This one, I kept my, my Cineast brain wanted to maybe shove it down a little bit, maybe elevate some of these other ones that people haven't heard of as much. But this is what I want more so than any of the comic book movies, the Marvel movies, the DC movie, any of them. Okay, this is what I want from a fucking blockbuster, dude. It just 100% delivered, totally redeemed this run. I hated Spectre with a passion. Terrible. What a dip from you and I when we walked out of Skyfall. After, we saw it months after everybody else. Mm-hmm. But that was down here, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think you drove down here. We went and caught it. It was probably like the last week it was playing.
Yeah.
We walk out, we're like, dude, is that like the best fucking Bond movie ever made? I don't know. Maybe it was. And you're Sam Mendes. And all you have to do is deliver something that's like real halfway decent. It's like, all right, dude, we can coast into like your third iteration and like whatever. And Spectre is so fucking terrible.
Now, I'm asking this question and maybe we can get the answer off air. I don't think that... I know that the guy who made Goldfinger maybe made Dr. No or he made Thunderbolt. I don't know. I don't think there's been a repeat director ever in that franchise history.
Oh, no. There's been repeats.
Like back-to-back repeats. Like the same guy who made Thunderbolt, Goldfinger made Thunderbolt.
Maybe they haven't done back-to-back.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe
okay.
That's where you fall off. You're asking the guy to do too much back-to-back. He just gave you Skyfall.
Okay.
Give him a break. Let him come back and do...
But anyways, it redeemed all of the faults of that movie, including the Christoph faults of it all.
Yeah.
They gave us what I thought was actually a surprisingly solid new villain, even though I'm not a huge Rami fan.
Right.
Tons of new characters. The new 007, I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it. Fantastic addition. And Craig absolutely killing it. And I thought it was just a great final chapter for his run.
Yeah.
Loved every bit of it. And Kerry Joji Fukunaga directed the absolute shit out of it.
Yeah.
The first sequence where I was like, oh, I forgot who made this movie for a second. When that team drops in to like take the device early on, and he does like the 360 spin shot through the like office corridor, I was just like, dude. And they throw the magnets down and just like throw the dude down the elevator shaft. Like, I was so jazzed. I loved it. I can't wait to rewatch it. I haven't done it yet.
So what you're saying, it's the little things about this movie that you loved.
It is.
Okay.
It really is.
Okay.
There is one little thing in particular that I would have liked that they didn't do. Huge disappointment for me, but I will not discuss it because I feel like still a lot of people probably... I feel like everybody's seen it.
Did you want a
now.
reverse of On Her Majesty's Secret Service? Is that what you wanted?
No.
Okay.
No.
I would have done that. That'd have been my only thing.
Screw it. Spoilers. Everybody knows by this point.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig dies at they kill Bond at the end of this movie. Okay.
I'll tell you, dude. Beck's dad was so upset after.
Dude, I know there was a lot of 60-year-old men that were bawling their eyes out, and I was right there with them.
You can't do this to him.
Here's all I wanted. You have that conversation with Léa Seydoux. We have all the time in the world. Totally fine. But then I need that man. I need that man to go and find some bottle, some sort of alcohol. Okay. Hold on. I need him to have one last drink, and I need him to break out the cigar that he got from Felix when Felix died. When they killed fucking Jeffrey Wright earlier in the movie, dude, me and Evan are looking at each other like we know it's coming. And I'm just like, no, they're not going to do it.
They're not going to license to kill him. It's
and then they do it, man. And I was just, we're both just kind of like, no, it's no big deal. But that's all I wanted. I wanted him to light up that Felix cigar and have one last drink, and then let the rocket assault fucking explode him to shit. I love that they make it definitive that like, oh no, he's not. There's no like, we didn't Dark Knight Rises this shit.
Right.
Like, trust us, he's dead. He's so dead.
See, in my version, you don't do the "I can't touch you anymore" thing, and he makes it out, and it's him.
Oh, that was brutal, dude. I
and
mean,
him and
it was
his
so
daughter.
frustrating.
No, but him and his wife and his daughter, they're just riding along, and he's out the game. It's over with, and you just got one last person to just, they're driving by the countryside, and it's throws open a bassinet or stroller and just sprays the car with bullets. The wife and daughter are fine, and he's hit in the head, and she's like, "It's okay. We have all the time in the world," and you're done because it kills the character. It's an homage to On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and if you decide you want to make another James Bond movie, you just do a whole Metal Gear Solid 5, and he had plastic surgery to get that bullet taken out of his head, and that's why he looks this way now. Boom, lawyered. Just saying, that's what I would have done.
Okay, it's definitely
would have been a
subtle,
terrible movie, I'm sure. People wouldn't have liked it at all, but who knows?
I love what they did with it.
it was
My number
pretty good.
7, No Time to Die.
Okay. My number 6 is No Man of God. It's the one of like millions of fucking Ted Bundy movies that have come out in the last couple of years. It's
Is
not
this-
the one with Efron. It's the one where Elijah Wood plays the
And Luke Kirby is
maybe. I don't know the guy's name.
okay.
To me, he looked the closest to Ted Bundy. Maybe didn't sound as the closest to Ted Bundy, but
I did not watch this.
it was good.
I'm a little bundied out, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell me more.
If anybody's wondering if Elijah Wood can still act after all them damn Hobbit movies, he can. He's pretty good.
Also,
I would.
see Come to Daddy.
Yeah, Come to
from, like,
Daddy.
2
Yeah,
years
that'll be
ago.
another one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That was last year. No, that was 20. Don't get me started.
either 2019 or 2020, one of the two.
It has come out recently.
right in the last
we
3
can
years.
say that. I can confidently say that it came out.
Right, but anything, since I'm not going to get, we're not going to get any more Mindhunter. Anything that touches on John Douglas and like anything with behavioral science and like I didn't really research a ton. I don't know if Robert Rest. I don't know if this is a real person that he's playing or if it's a conglomerate of like a bunch of different dudes. But it's essentially him going to profile Bundy before Bundy's executed and starts playing his mind games of like, I got other bodies, I can do this, I can do that, before he decides to like break down and pin it all on porn, which is bullshit. He just fucking like doing this shit. Don't get it twisted. And it's just about the two of them, and like there's a little bit of like hokey mind, like, oh, am I thinking like Ted? Am I doing this, doing that? But factually, how it plays out, Bundy's last days in prison, like, and just that sort of stuff. I think it's pretty good. I think it captures what people hated about the Efron one, about him trying to be a ladies' man, and like, look at him trying to be sympathize with him, and like the problems people may have had with that movie. You don't have here, because it is like, he's in jail. We all know what he did. We're just trying to figure out if we can get any more info out of him to solve other cases, to give closure to some families. And it's about, that parallel with this person who's coming to profile him and that sort of stuff. Because I'm utterly fascinated by people who can do that. I think it's amazing. So, not kill people. I'm talking about profiling them. Just so we're clear.
Okay. All right. That was No Man of God.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I had No Time to Die.
Well, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
It's a little bit of synergy.
Yeah, sure. My my number 6 is quite a film. It's called Titan, or Titan, if you will. It's the latest from Julia Ducournau, director of Raw. Don't really. Have you seen it yet? How to talk about Titan?
I feel like
honestly.
I should have already, but I haven't.
I really would like for you to, so that we can discuss it. I've only had one other friend that has taken the plunge. I saw this one in theaters with a very, very small crowd. And what a movie. If you're familiar with the director, she makes very, very intense, engaging films. This is her second feature.
Oh, it's on Hulu now. Yeah, I can check it out.
It's on Hulu now?
Yeah.
Excuse me. I will be rewatching it very soon. That'll be my third time.
Oh.
Saw it once in theater. Rewatched it with Veronica. What's that?
Stop recording. You're only coming through in one ear. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Only coming through in one ear.
I can only hear you in my left ear, not both.
Are you fully connected?
I am. I think when you sneezed or coughed just a minute ago, you might have moved yours out just a tad bit, is what I'm saying.
I might have done what?
I don't know. I can't hear you in both ears anymore. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think I'm still recording in stereo.
Okay.
I can hear myself in both ears.
Talk again?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you really well out of here. It's faint in this one. It's fine.
Maybe it's just those headphones.
Might be.
Maybe take it out here at the stem. We're not editing this. Excuse us, folks. Now put it back in.
Is that two ports?
Yeah. The other one's for like a full-on studio headphone jack, like if you're jacking into an amp or something.
Oh.
Well, you got it all twisted up. Maybe that's why you can't hear. Maybe that's why I can't sleep at night.
Basketball Joe. Not everything's coming in the left side of my ear now. It's fine. I don't know what's going on with this thing. It's barely there.
I hope everybody can still hear me.
Now I can hear you. In both ears.
Really?
Must have been that. When you sneezed, you might have pulled it out a little bit.
All right.
Okay.
This was great.
Yeah.
This is great
Perfect.
content. I totally...
We are real podcasters.
Lost the plot. Teton.
Teton. Teton.
Sweet little French pig. It's like... I don't want to spoil.
Like, how French is it? Is it
It's
like
French enough for you? You're allowed to like this one, so you should maybe check it out.
Wait, is it an indie French movie or is it like a legit French movie? Because I don't know if I can like an indie movie from France. Maybe those are the only kind of indies I can like.
Just check it out. Okay. See what you think.
It's on Hulu now, so I will.
It's a wild one, man. It's a wild ride.
How wild? Are we like Cat Stevens wild? Or are we like... No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to make up for all that air we just did with the headphones.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Okay, good. I'll let you take it back.
I mean, it's the wildest movie of the year. If I gave you the basic plot description, it wouldn't even do it justice. I'm not going to bother. It has fantastic atmosphere, style, performances. You've never seen anything like it, and you probably will not ever post unless you watch another Julia Ducournau movie, because she is 2 features in, and talk about auteur theory definitely being a real thing.
Okay.
She is incredible. I don't know if raw, like right out of the gate, I was like, that is a fucking masterpiece. This movie gives you a lot more to chew on, and I could definitely tell. I think I told a story around the time of coming out of it. I can't remember. I'll reiterate it here, because this is a good description of my first brush with it. I walked out of the theater. It was the last screening of the night at the indie theater over here, the Terrace. And there's restaurants on either side of it when you come out. So there's people sitting on the porch. And come out, and they're asking, like, oh, how is Teton? Like, obviously they knew it was the only movie left playing because of the showtime or whatever. Mm-hmm. And nobody's really saying anything, myself included, because I'm like, I just came out of that. I'm still like, what the hell was that? And so nobody responded. It's like, oh, guess Teton sucked. And I was just... Then I finally was like, dude, I don't even know how to begin to tell. I was like, that's one of those I need to think on for a minute. Kind
Go
of thing.
home, put on some sweatpants, get a beer,
and that
think about stuff.
That seems to be the general reaction for a lot of people. But yeah,
that's entertainment.
It truly. Let's move on. I highly recommend it, but it is not for the faint of heart. It has some of the more graphic imagery you will ever see in a film, and it's not an easy sit, but it is also weirdly one of the sweetest, most beautiful movies about the human condition I've ever fucking seen. It's also wrapped in like one of the grossest, like most offensive shells ever. You gotta see it.
Okay.
Fantastic movie. Not for everybody though, but it's on Hulu, so take a chance on it. If you do feel like tapping out after the first 30 minutes, I do not begrudge you. It only gets weirder from there, but maybe not in the ways you would expect. Movie takes a lot of turns. That is all I'll say.
Okay.
Okay. Can't wait to talk about it with you.
Okay.
When we can discuss spoilers. It also, while we're just highlighting stuff, has arguably my favorite scene or sequence of the year. It's up there for consideration, but it is most certainly my favorite musical moment in cinema this year.
Okay.
And it is...
Remember that when we start doing our own Oscar categories in a couple weeks.
I will do that. Back to you for your number 5?
5.
We're in the top 5, ladies and gents. I think maybe I should get more whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, you can if you want.
I mean...
It's only going to get crazier from here, right?
Do you want to take a short break? Would the court be willing to grant me a short bathroom break? Excuse me,
Your Honor.
I didn't really hit it. I'm a little nasally right now.
Yes,
Excuse
Mr. Reed.
Your Honor, would the court be willing to grant me a short bathroom break?
Can it wait?
No, sir, can't.
I really have to...
I'm told if you hold it in for too long,
Yeah.
it can lead to prostate cancer and make it difficult to become aroused.
In
that case, I need to take a break as well.
Mr. Reed, what happened to you?
The madman, Your Honor. Miserable fool at the end of his pitiful rope.
Do you feel like you can continue?
Yes.
I hold myself in contempt.
Why should you be any different? Get your hands off them. You haven't paid for them yet.
I've had better. I've had better.
The pen is blue.
The goddamn pen is blue. All right, where are we?
We are
Top
starting our top 5 favorite films of 2021, and Liar Liar is not on that list. So,
Is this where we switch and you want to start with
sure,
your top 5?
sure.
'Cause we
My
always
number
do this.
5, bring the mood way down, way down. My number 5 is The Killing of Two Lovers.
Table it.
I am so glad to hear that. Okay, so we're gonna flip again.
Yeah, we'll flip
and
right
you're
back,
gonna
yeah.
give me your number 5.
Yeah, okay. My number 5 is a little movie called Pig.
So glad this is up there for you.
Yeah,
The great Nicolas Cage.
of course.
This is available on Hulu for anybody who has yet to check it out. It's your pick. I mean, I can do the
I
whole
know.
spiel.
No,
but,
I just
mean,
it's
God.
it's just I remember it came to Hulu the weekend of the Christmas party,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm just gonna I'll start it, and I'm gonna iron my clothes, get ready, whatnot, and I'm like, next thing I know, I'm like, shit, I gotta turn this thing off and actually do what I need to do to get ready, because I'm like engrossed in it. It's just so fucking like, he just wants to know what the fuck happened to his pig, and like the whole backstory of like who he was and what he was doing. I was like, holy shit, it's so, I don't know, you just gotta watch it.
Beautiful movie.
Fucking beautiful.
Honestly, we haven't talked Oscar nominations, but goddamn travesty, one might say.
Yeah.
That he didn't. I thought that was a no-brainer this year. I truly thought that was a no-brainer that he would at least be in the 5. Very disappointed to see that. You know, we have a lot of affection for the Cage around these parts.
Mm-hmm.
This was a nice. It's nice to know he's still got these types of performances in him.
Yeah.
I mean, Mandy is one thing. We fucking adore it.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, he likes to remind everybody, like, you know, I am one of the greats. You guys like to tease me. Everybody thinks I'm a bit of a joke, but just remember, if I want to turn it on, I can turn it on.
It's like Nicolas Cage is like a finely tuned European automobile. It was built to drive, or in his case, act. And if you don't drive it, you don't act, it's gonna just get rusted and it's not gonna be as good. So when people make fun of him for being in everything, I'm like, no, he should be in everything. He should do every script. Not because of his tax troubles or anything like that, because you are gonna get a hit at least once in all of the stuff that comes out. And I'm pretty sure all the stuff we haven't watched, there's probably some moments in there.
I mean, that's a whole podcast unto itself, which does exist, but doing the deep dive on Cage with all the VOD movies and stuff.
Yeah.
To slightly transition into movies we are looking forward to, have you seen the trailer for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
Mm-mm.
Where he is playing himself, and Nick Cage is asked to attend the birthday party of a very like famous and powerful drug lord, I believe. Pedro Pascal is in it as well. The trailer is very funny. If it works, there could be something special here.
Okay.
Check it out. Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Pig was incredible. Not what you expect when you hear the log line, but just a beautiful little movie that, you kind of need to let unfold for yourself.
Yeah.
But great central performance. And Alex Wolff as well from Hereditary. Quite good in there. Great pick, man. Pig is my number 25.
Okay.
And I did love it quite a bit. Again, a lot of good movies this year. A lot of good movies.
Yeah.
My number 4 might also be getting put on the table.
We'll see.
Arguably the front runner for Best Picture, and I certainly hope that it wins. My number 4, is a Netflix film.
No, you can talk about it here.
Do we have Synergy?
No, you can talk about it here because I don't have it on my list.
The Power of the Dog is not on your list.
No, there's 2 more that I loved more than that. 3 more.
But it didn't even make your top 10.
It's one of those that's like,
it's a cusper. Was it on the cusp?
Yeah. I mean, it was. Look, there was a ton, and I put this together. I tried to think of things that like still sit with me and still, regardless of when I saw them, I'm still like close my eyes thinking, what did I watch? Oh yeah, this. It comes to me.
Well, speaking of a movie that stuck with me, my God, and has also led us down a road. Veronica and I, basically in tandem with Blank Check, which is covering her right now, we're going through all the Jane Campion movies because she is one of those directors who, when I was getting into like movies back when I was 13, 14, going to the video store all the time, she was just one of those people. It's like, gotta check out some of her stuff. So I watched The Piano and I watched Holy Smoke, and I was 13 and I did not know what the hell to make of those movies at all. But yeah, we've now gone back through all of those, and we're basically on our way to circling back around for what will be our rewatch of Power of the Dog, which should probably come right around the time that I think it's going to win Best Picture, and I hope it does. Just an incredible movie from top to bottom. I think it's the most gorgeous like Netflix feature that's been released thus far. Has some stiff competition from Roma, Ballad of Buster Scruggs, and a few other things I could think of, but for me, visually speaking, it's right at the top. Incredible performances across the board. It's a period piece. It's about a lot of things.
Right.
It's about manipulation. It's about toxic masculinity.
But it's in that transition Western period. And
yes, this is like,
personally, I feel like the Western somehow is making a huge comeback and no one knows about it.
I mean, I feel like you and I have been saying that for the last several years.
Yeah.
But
hopefully this proves it.
Yes.
Yeah.
A Western, again, a Western in quotes, if you want to play that game, winning Best Picture definitely would be a statement, because as much as that sounds like such an old school, like, on paper, it sounds like an old school Oscar-y type movie, but when you sit through it, it has all the idiosyncrasies of a Jane Campion movie that like nobody else could have made this.
Right.
And it just, again, it's not so much the story the narrative that is being told. It is how it's being told that is so satisfying. And it was a movie that I just could not take my eyes off while I was so engaged. Probably the most like edge of my seat experience I had all year. And it was at home, and I was completely dialed in, no like looking for the phone, etc. I would love to see it sweep the acting categories as well. Everybody is nominated. Literally everybody is nominated. Cumberbatch, Kirsten, Jesse Plemons, and Cody Smith-McPhee are all up. So I think it's her year as director as well.
Hopefully.
Can't be mad at it. That's who I'm rooting for. Even though, yes, this is my number 4, and there's some stuff that's nominated that I do have ranked higher. I think it's Power of the Dog's year. If you have not caught up with it, it is available on Netflix. A tough sit and some rough subject matter. I have some friends who literally tapped out around the time that Cumberbatch started assaulting a horse. Not like sexually assaulting a horse, but physically like beating a horse. They had a hard time with that scene, and they were like, "Oh, it probably gets worse from here." And I'm like,
"Nah,
no." I told them, I was like, "That's kind of the worst of that." Tonally, does it get worse from there? Yeah, sure. But yeah, I just that one kind of knocked me back a bit. But yeah, really, really stuck with me. Can't wait to watch it again. Power of the Dog. It's my number 4.
Okay, so my number 4 is I don't know if it's a Hulu original or not, but it is a little movie called Lorelei that I saw on Hulu. But again, I don't know if it's a Hulu original.
Okay, I have no familiarity with this at all, so please explain.
Our boy, Pablo Schreiber.
Okay.
Is getting out of prison.
Is he? I mean, I like him. Is he one of our boys though? We've discussed one of his movies.
He's my boy. He's like a dude of mine.
Oh, what else have you? I feel like I've watched more of his content than you have, bud.
Yeah, probably. So he would be your boy.
Outside of Den of Thieves, though. I'm saying. What?
Yeah. This is another one you don't know.
Are you a Wire season 2 guy? Are you Orange is the New Black guy?
I did watch him on Orange is the New Black.
Are you an American Gods guy?
I didn't know he was on American Gods. I might have to check it out.
Oh, dude, he plays a leprechaun, basically.
Okay.
He's pretty good at it.
He is released from prison after being there for a long time, part of a biker gang, and he's coming back to his hometown, and he just so happens to run into an old flame of his from back when he was, in the throes of this biker gang in his youth, who is played by Jenna Malone. And she has a few kids, and
okay,
it is basically him readjusting and finding himself like in the throes of like what it was to be young and to be, in love, and what could have been had he made better choices. And there's a line in there where he's like, I'm not your kid's father. And she's like, yeah, but you would have been, and you should have been. And I saw that in the trailer and I was like, I'm sold. I'm gonna check this thing out. And it was just this nice little love story movie, in its own weird way. It tackles some interesting subject matter when it comes to, what it means to, have had love and loss and all that. Really good. I enjoyed it. I didn't expect to. I was like, yeah, I'll just throw it on. But Hulu does this nice thing where if you play the trailer, it gives you about 3 seconds to decide, no, I don't want to watch it, and it just starts playing it for you. So
Oh, okay.
I appreciate that.
Cool.
Yeah, Lorelai.
All right. I will have to check this one out.
Mm-hmm.
Sabrina Doyle. Looks like that is a debut feature as well.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my number 4.
Okay. My number 3 is one that I feel like people still have probably not had a chance to check out unless you've been willing to brave going to the theater, because it has yet to make its way to VOD. They've kept it running theaters for quite a while, which has now probably paid off even more so because it just got nominated for a bunch of Oscars. My number 3 is Licorice Pizza from Mr. Paul Thomas Anderson, my favorite living filmmaker. No surprise that it's here.
None at all.
For those familiar, I mean, I guess the surprise is that it's not number 1, I suppose.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the bag for this one before it started. See, you're pulling. Mm-hmm. You're pulling the headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Push it back in.
So this shit up. Are you hearing okay?
Go ahead.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I am. I'm good. We determined that I had them on backwards. I had the left on the right and the right on the left. That was causing the problem.
Yeah, you like to confuse your right from your left.
Mm-hmm.
Licorice Pizza. Excuse me. It's a coming of age story set in the Valley back in the 70s, and
any tracksuits involved?
You might see a tracksuit or two in the background, maybe.
I know you didn't watch it or didn't finish it, but in one of the episodes of Hawkeye, the Eastern European guys, Royal Tenenbaums is
I finished.
Run DMC, classic tracksuit, Royal Tenenbaums classic tracksuit film. That's just what I think of when I think of.
Those guys were funny.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that aspect of that show.
Yeah. So you're in the Valley. It's a coming-of-age story in the 70s.
Yes, starring 2 basic unknowns. It's their debut performances, even though they're somewhat known. Cooper Hoffman, son of Philip Seymour Hoffman, and Alana Haim of the Haim Sisters, the band.
Oh, neat.
Yes. They're not called the Haim Sisters. They're just Haim.
Haim, yeah.
But, yeah. She's incredible. Wish she was up for Best Actress. Kind of pissed off about it, honestly, but it got a lot of other nominations, so what are you going to do? This one, for people who are familiar with his work, I would say is somewhere between Punch Drunk Love and Inherent Vice. So definitely not as heavy a film as, say, Phantom Thread or There Will Be Blood. So The Master, some of the more recent ones that are maybe a little more of a heady experience for people.
Oh, my bad. I got them all mixed up.
What's that?
The guy who made this did not make the Royal Tenenbaums.
No, that's Wes Anderson.
Yeah,
We've had this conversation so many times.
Right. I get them all mixed up. They're all the same.
This is why I still maintain we must at some point do the Paul W.E.S. Anderson cast.
Right. You stole all the names of the hat, and what we should do is just put them all in a hat, and then you pick it out and you start reading the synopsis, and I have to figure out which director's which.
So it's just a game that we play for one episode? Is that what you're saying?
No, we bring it. It's in every show. It's a repeating. It's like a bit. It's like a fucking a segment.
You have to name which director it is without the title presented to you. You just get the plot description.
Yeah, like so if you're just
okay.
like
No.
Humans have to travel to an ancient island to defend Earth. I know it's W.S. Anderson.
Okay.
But if you're like family, there's some weird quirky stuff. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know if that's.
Okay, here's the question though. So if you can't guess it, do I then get to make you watch?
Right.
If you get it wrong.
Right.
And so it's a. I like this.
Yeah, and I
like this a lot.
Yeah, and when we do the next check-in in the next episode, if I haven't watched it, I get a demerit.
Okay.
Or I get detention.
Well, let's start incorporating that along with our 2x2s, and we'll just have
a
big old stack schedule. Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. What?
Your excuse. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
It's their debut performances, and they did
Yes.
great.
They're fantastic. There is like, I'm not gonna go into it. There's some controversy around the movie. I think it's mostly bullshit, personally, so I'm not even gonna go into it here. It's just charming as fuck. It's a good time. It sent me out of the theater with a giant smile on my face. It could be considered minor PTA or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I loved it. Great soundtrack, great performances, great vibe, great look, great everything, and an absolutely scene-stealing performance from Mr. Bradley Cooper.
Oh, okay.
So you'll want to see it for that alone, but I think you will have quite a good time taking a big old slice of licorice pizza. I think you'll enjoy it. Eventually it'll be on VOD for people, but I'll be buying this one Blu-ray day one and rewatching it as much as I rewatch all of his other films.
Okay.
Yeah. Your number 3.
My number 3 is The Killing of Two Lovers.
All right. So we can talk about it. This was my number 5. We didn't
go in depth. We didn't
Yes.
really get to spoilers. We didn't really get to whatever. But
It is now on
what a movie.
Hulu for people to check out. And you can, I mean, it was on your list as well. Why don't you familiarize them with the plot a little bit?
It's basically a young couple who've been together since basically high school, kind of have hit a rough patch, and they have decided that they're going to proceed in life with basically essentially what you would consider an open relationship or open marriage. And it discusses, like,
I mean, I don't think that's the agreement at all. I think that's
they're
kind of part of
working
the
things
issue.
out. They're like separate. It's not like they agree to it, but like the
They're
whole
in the
thing
midst
is
of a trial separation, and
yeah.
the wife,
wife
has
starting
chosen to pursue
and
other
he
options.
hasn't, and it's
He is clearly trying to make things work, and
Right.
she seems like she's maybe contemplating moving on. The crux of all of this
right.
is that they live in a fucking small town. I'm talking where he can look out the front porch of his father's house and see her house.
Right.
Because that's just how the neighborhood is. It's very, very small. We talked about it at the time, but just some of the most naturalistic
That's what I was going to get
performances.
at. Lorelai, I just mentioned. That is, to me, on the same level of this in terms of how sunk in and real they feel. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm watching an actor I know is an actor. It feels like someone just turned a camera on in this situation and decided to follow this father around as he, I mean, the opening of the movie, my God, like, you're already there. You know, if you when you watch it, you'll understand what we're talking about. He's already at that point at the opening of this movie. Tells you everything you need to know.
Yes, and check out the trailer. I think it's a great tone piece. The other huge selling point, it always is a selling point this day and age. This movie is 1 hour and 25 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crisp, edited to the bone.
Yep.
A fantastic sound design in this movie. Just on pretty much every level. The director, I think this is his debut feature, mostly just shorts and documentaries prior. Robert Machoyan, Machoyan, not quite sure. Machoin.
Okay.
But yes, look forward to anything he does in the future. The lead in this, Clayne Crawford, who I guess people know from the Lethal Weapon TV series. I don't watch cable, so I was able to just look at this as a completely unvarnished performance.
They probably know him from being fired from
This
that
is
show.
one of the great casualties. Yes, there was that whole thing. This is one of the great casualties of the COVID bubble and the era and the overlap of when things got released. This is technically kind of a 2020 movie.
Right.
But a 2021 movie because that's when people were able to see it. And I just feel like it kind of got lost in the shuffle. Now that it is on Hulu, I'm hoping that more people do check it out. It's a heavy one, but again, it's one of those fantastic dramas that manages to balance the tone perfectly. I equated it when we initially talked about it to one of my favorite movies of all time, which we have covered on this series, In the Bedroom.
Yes.
Which I think is a great
because
great
whether
companion piece.
you have experienced that specific thing in your own life, there are so many other aspects of the movie that, like, if you don't know it, you know someone who has, so you can either relate or you can empathize, one of the two.
Yes.
And the ending what do you think happens? You don't have to tell me. Just think
I
about
mean,
it.
I do,
Talk about it off
again,
mic.
this is
what
one
do
of
you
the,
think happens?
I think that I had this discussion with other people who've seen this as well. I think that ending is a lot darker than it appears
Yes.
upon initial viewing. And that has everything to do with the sound design. That's all I'll say
We'll talk about
for
it
right
off
now.
Because I'm curious, because I looked at that ending and I was like, this is not, no. The casual film goer may feel a certain way about it, but to the
Yes.
initiated Mr. Wayne, we know more. We know better than to trust what we're seeing on screen. So yeah, we'll talk about that off mic.
For sure.
Yeah.
The Killing of Two Lovers, is that our only crossover so far? Am I correct?
So far, we got 2 more chances. We'll see what happens.
I don't see it happening.
Me
I
neither.
don't see it happening. So back to me. Is that where we're
Yeah,
at?
this is your
my
number.
number 2.
Is it your
Favorite
number
film of the
2 or
year.
your number 3?
My number 3 was Licorice Pizza. I already
Oh,
did
right.
that.
So it's your 2, yeah.
And your number 3 was Killing of Two Lovers. So now we're back to me for my number 2.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. My number 2. This was perhaps the most fortuitous viewing experience. I texted you last. I guess I can say, because you told me earlier what your rating was, so I know it's not on your top 10. So I feel like this is not a spoiler. Yesterday we were planning out when we were going to record. We've been waiting to do this year-end list. We wanted to catch up on some things, and it just so happened to work out. I was like, it's Tuesday. What is out that's new? They finally put Red Rocket on VOD, the new Sean Baker movie.
Yes.
So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna rent that. That'll be the capper. That'll be the last thing I watch. Finalize the list. I'll let Gavin know it's up because I know you love the Florida Project.
Wait, that was technically 2021?
Yeah.
I thought that was new, like this year.
No, that's 2021.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, damn.
Anyways. Oh, so would it have been on your list? Is that what you're saying?
Totally.
Oh, it would have been on your top 10?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can retroactively put it
No,
on.
I'm not going to do. I mean,
I'm going all of this long way to say, I go ahead and I'm like, all right, I'm getting Red Rocket so we can both watch it. And I do something that I've been doing for the last for the last basically 3.5 months. I go to IMDb at least every other day and I check the page for my number 2 favorite film of the year. It's called The Souvenir Part 2.
Uh-huh.
Because this movie came out in limited release in October of 2021 in New York and LA. And I checked my indie theater constantly. When you gonna bring it? When's it gonna be on?
So you
When's
kept
it gonna
going
be
to
streamed?
them like we kept going to American Video looking for copies of Liar Liar when it came out.
Yeah.
Boom. That's a callback. You're welcome.
I've talked about the first one and my extreme emotional attachment to that movie. It was my second favorite of 2019. Great year for movies. I was looking back at that list earlier today. And I've been waiting with bated breath. I've been like genuinely angry. Like, just let me see it. Like, I just want to see it. I can't believe there's a sequel to this movie. It's been out for months and I can't get my hands on it. Well, lo and behold, this was finally the Tuesday where it popped up on Prime for purchase. And I threw down the $20 to go ahead and straight up buy it because that's how bad I wanted to see this. And I crammed it in. It was the last, Red Rocket was the last thing I watched because I watched that earlier today. But I watched The Souvenir Part 2 last night. And it was everything I could have possibly hoped it would be. This is the follow-up, again, to Joanna Hogg's previous feature, The Souvenir, which was about a young female filmmaker in the early 80s in England, starting out in a student film program while she simultaneously meets a very interesting and intriguing but potentially dishonest man who she starts a relationship with. I won't go into too much detail. I believe the first one is streaming on Showtime right now, if you have Showtime. It's rentable, obviously, as well. Part 2 picks up after the events of the first movie. And I mentioned before that there was a movie that was possibly more meta than The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe more meta than a superhero movie that hasn't come up, and I don't think is going to. Spider-Man?
No.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
But yeah, we've had a lot of meta movies this year. And I did not expect Joanna Hogg to deliver the most meta of them all.
Can we say that now?
What?
Doesn't he own the rights to that word?
Well, fuck him. No,
Okay.
you can't just retroactively buy the rights to a word. You named your thing a thing that already exists. No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Just checking.
This podcast is available on Facebook, by the way.
What?
Yeah.
We're on Facebook?
They have a thing where you can just upload, you just put in your feed burner thing, and it just automatically, just updates us.
Oh.
So it just will pop up on there.
Okay.
I think I put us in there. I definitely did it for Bending Not Breaking.
Okay.
Maybe I need to do it.
The person who
first.
handles the Facebook, maybe I should have been consulted on that, Noah.
Well, maybe you're the one who needs to do it because you have the login and shit.
Yeah.
Or maybe check into that because
I
all
can
you
just
need to
give you
do
the
is
login.
paste a link and
Yeah.
we're good to go.
Okay.
Then you can send it to everybody.
Just send me the RSS link. I'll do it.
Anyways, part 2 is about the lead character, the filmmaker, Julie, now in her basically senior thesis phase, if you will, of her film program, making her first feature, and she's making a feature about
what happened to her in the first movie.
What happened to her.
Yeah.
And in the same way that the movie itself is obviously a very semi-autobiographical story of Joanna Hogg's own life, it starts to, it's like 4 layers deep of meta, and it never loses any of its dramatic potency in the midst of all that. It's a lot about the creative process, how we process traumatic events in our lives into art, how we come to terms with them, how we reach a point of being honest with ourselves and the people around us about what certain events have done to us. It's very, what I love about her movies, what I'm coming to realize, and there's a lot of filmmakers that do this for me, but it's a very unique sort of thing. People who can distill emotions that are almost indescribable. You know what I'm saying? The kind of stuff that you internalize, and it's like, I know those moments, but it would be so hard for me to articulate that feeling to someone. And it is just one of those kind of intangible things where it's like, I feel like you could show this to some people and they'd be like, oh, this is a very interesting movie, or it was good, or oh, I didn't connect with it at all. But the level of attachment I had to the first one, I was kind of reticent to it's just not a type of movie that you would ever expect to get a sequel made to it. But now seeing it in its totality, these are 2 of my favorite films in recent memory. I absolutely love them. Again, I can't say everybody is going to be hit on the deep emotional level that I was, but these just did it for me. My number 2 is Souvenir Part 2. It is, again, purchasable right now, but eventually
you got to be down from the get-go.
You got to be down. Yeah, I wish I could have just given Joanna Hogg the money personally and told her how much I adored her previous film, not her first movie. She's made a lot of good films as well. Many of which starring old Loki, Tom Hiddleston, if people want to check those out. If you want to see him just doing some good, just naturalistic, dramatic character pieces, maybe check those out. Archipelago is one of them that I would recommend. And I've still got a lot of hers to catch up on as well. But, yeah. Your number 2, sir.
Well, that's a tough act to follow, but my number 2 is The Suicide Squad.
Dude, killer movie.
Yeah.
Right there with you. Totally support this pick.
Yeah.
Have you,
I'm almost there. I got the finale to go.
Oh, okay. I have not started yet.
Oh
I've been a little busy with some other stuff.
Noah.
It's
Noah.
I'm very excited.
I cannot wait for you to finish that.
Okay.
You are saving yourself a nice after Valentine's Day treat.
I will say this. I'm not, without even looking at my list right now, I don't know where I had it, but I can tell you this. Suicide Squad, in the midst of all of this Marvel stuff, all the Marvel stuff on TV, the 3 Marvel movies we got this year?
Yep.
Suicide Squad,
4.
quietly, 4 Marvels?
Shang-Chi, The Eternals,
Oh,
Black Widow,
I forgot.
and Spider-Man.
Right. all of that shit, Suicide Squad quietly the best comic book movie of the year.
Yeah.
And fucking completely tanked the box office.
Yeah.
Which is an even bigger travesty, because that piece of shit that David Ayer made, which was probably decent, and then the studio or whoever that trailer company was
released the
cut
Ayer
to
cut.
shit.
Released the Ayer cut.
That movie made like $700 million.
Will Smith was in that movie.
And it was also released not in the midst of a fucking global pandemic.
That's true.
But I was so upset because you sit there and watch that movie on HBO Max, and I was like, I was so good, I should have gone to the theater. And then I was like, wait, no, nobody went to this. Oh, guys.
I feel like if they release it later in the year, if you release it later in the year, you might get a little bit more. Once vaccines
you
have been
say
rolling.
that, but I understand their instinct, because it's like, well, these Marvel movies are performing. They're not doing quite as well, but like they're putting up numbers.
I just love the idea of like, we don't like you, you need to leave. But what I said was a joke all those years ago. We don't care. No tolerance. Zero tolerance. Okay. And he runs off and makes Suicide Squad. And then all the actors are like, we're not going to finish the third one without him. And they're like, okay, come back. And he's like, okay, I'll come back. Hey, Cena, you got a couple weeks? We can do 10 episodes real quick. You're going to be the guy from this movie that people hate, but also are going to learn to love. Want to do it? And Cena says, sure. And they make a fucking series out of a random character out of there.
I have heard that it is arguably like the most James Gunn thing James Gunn has ever made. So
the series?
Yes.
Oh, dude, it's an homage to every movie he's ever made.
I am so excited to watch it. I will, again, highlighting like blockbuster entertainment that does still work for me. The final set piece in Suicide Squad that's how you do a final set piece. I'm sorry, but like Marvel, just take a minute and like, you can learn some things from the other side. I know you don't think you can, but to this day, Starro set piece at the end is still just incredible stuff.
I am like every now and then I'll just if I'm getting up to go somewhere, Bex will be like, "We're going, friend." I'm like, "Hand." Or see.
Dude, again, King Shark, like, you just reminded me that he's in it. I'm like, yeah, that's like the 5th or 6th most awesome thing about that movie. Everything just is firing on all cylinders, and that Polka Dot Man is great.
The fucking when the first scene where they're like taking out everyone, it's like, yeah, these are the rebel. Oh shit! Like,
dude,
these are the resistance fighters. You just murdered all of them.
I just love the commitment to the bit and the tone. It's like, no, this is. And again, manages to be way more like dark, but still fun than the Ayer one, which like just tried to be like, oh, we're edgy as fuck, and you were like, okay.
Yeah, he pulls off more in that first sequence when it's like, all right, I'm gonna start detonating charges and all this stuff. Like, yeah, really, and the way it ties into the actual series, I think you will love the series almost as much as you.
Yeah, I really just like it launched, and I don't know what I was doing.
You are in for a treat. I should have.
I kind of just been saving them for myself.
I should have done that, but I
might dive in tonight after you get out of here, because we're
finale's up now.
We're wrapping up very soon.
Yeah. Your number one, my friend.
My number one. I definitely stated this on mic at some point. It has not changed. My number one is Bo Burnham's Inside.
Oh, yeah.
Which is available on Netflix. Again, if we want to walk the line, and if we wanted to do caveats and not call this a movie proper or whatever, and say that Killing of Two Lovers technically came out in 2020, then I could give you my 11 and 12. But fuck that. These are our list. It's just, it hit me harder than any piece of art that has related to the last 2 years. I think it will stand the test of time. I think it is brilliantly conceived. The fact that it truly, top to bottom, came from one person's brain in terms of the writing, the performance, the execution, how it was shot, everything. I think it's just a fucking towering achievement that, even though I know it got a lot of love and like still has like stuck around in a lot of people's minds, I feel like because it was this kind of medium breaking sort of thing, that people still didn't quite know how to address it. And I think that's because it is something wholly unique and new, and something that could kind of only come out of the last 2 years. So,
well, no, I would even say further back than that, because this is the culmination of the YouTube generation, the studio systems not having to put a ton of money into anything to get it made, every indie piece of art you've ever seen in your life, and then a worldwide pandemic. It fuses sight, sound. It's a perfect time capsule for what the start of the 2020s are. You know, when they find the fossil records from us after the atheist and the other people start fighting.
Mithraic,
yes, I forget the name. When
the Sons of Saul, bro.
Yeah. When the Sons of Saul find a time capsule and they wonder how did they even survive back then, they will find this and be like, oh, this guy, yeah, we like him. He's one of us.
I was going to say,
that's what it's going to be.
That aspect, too, you talked about the culmination.
Yeah.
The other level of emotional attachment is I've been watching this dude's entire career, and there's not a lot of people I can say that about, where I was like, I saw you when you started. I charted the growth. I saw you become a director. I saw you become an even more respected actor outside of the comedic realm. And then I saw you go back to...
You were a piece of shit in that one movie?
Yeah. Exactly.
Not the biggest turd, but
you're up
still,
there.
You're still like you were on the tape.
Promising
bro.
Young Woman.
Yes.
See previous episodes.
Yes.
But to bring it all back around to essentially what you started your career doing, and the absolute pinnacle of
this is what you want from somebody, any artist that you love. You want this thing of theirs before they go.
Yes.
Like you would want.
And again, this stands in such a way where I'm like, he never has to do this ever again. He never has to do another lot. I hope he does. I would love to see him back on tour again. I would love to get another album and more music, etc. But if he wants to just go off and be a director or a writer or just act in other people's stuff, I'm kind of like, you made your thing. You
started your career this way. You end your career this way as this thing to us. Anything you do from here on out, I'll be behind because you are who you are.
Yeah.
That's that simple.
But just, nothing stuck with me more from last year, and nothing really meant more to me at the time. And the other, again, staying power is the fucking songs, dude. The songs are fucking bangers, and they're funny as shit. And the fact that I can queue them up on Spotify is a lot of why that movie has never come close to faltering for my number one slot. Bo Burnham's Inside, my number one favorite film of 2021. I'm so excited for where you're going, man.
You sure you want to? You don't want to take a guess where I'm going? I don't think you know.
I am a little
flummoxed as to what I'm doing, where I'm going.
Give me some hints. Let's play a game.
This is definitely one that I found out because of you.
Oh, did you finally? Is this something you watched? Yeah. After a little ways down the road?
No.
No? Okay. Give me another clue.
Trying to think of what would be a good one for you. I don't know what's gonna make it where you won't. I can't really think of anything I could tell you that would let you where.
Oh my God, this is fantastic. This is the number one on the list.
Yeah, well, I'm going to give it away. We're playing a game. I'm not going to give it away to you that easily. We've talked about it before at some point. You and I have talked about it.
Okay.
It has something to do with the thing I said has been coming back. When you said,
oh.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just keep your head down. You'll be all right. My number one is Old Henry.
As well it should be. I'm very glad to see this one as your number
amazing.
One. I'm so glad you like it, brother.
So, this is the part where I talk about other podcasts. If you're not listening to American History Tellers, like a week after this was done, I watched this. They came out with a 3-parter of his life, Dead Before 22, all this stuff, and I'm like, that's great. It was like synergy, and that's when I started thinking. I've been watching.
I just almost don't want you to say anything for people because this is it's a small
fucking
movie.
sleeper. I
People
wish
haven't
more shit.
seen it,
Yeah,
dude.
no. I'm not gonna tell you what's what, but
one of the most beautiful reveals of like
ever.
It's so good,
dude. And the thing is, it's there on Tim Blake Nelson the entire time. And it's not until he goes and gets his hat that you're like, motherfucker.
Another
reveal.
underrated, like, if we were doing our award show, he's in my 5 best actors this year, for sure.
Are you kidding me?
Old Henry is a throwback Western in a classic sense with a little bit of a revisionist brutality to it.
And that's what I was going to say. In so much as like the way of the dog, Power of the Dog, not the way of the good, but
the samurai or the gun.
Yeah, you're right.
But the Power of the Dog.
Power of the Dog. It is set in that because the son talks about like why are we here with a one plow? There are machines that do this now. We could just go do that. And no. I'm not. This is my home. This is my land. I'm here.
He's clinging to
the last vestige of like the West, essentially.
Yes,
even though it technically isn't the West,
it's not even so much the actual like the romanticism of that. It's so tied in with the Bronco Henry character and like his look at masculinity and all of that, and this posturing and so much other shit. Oh my god, that movie is so fucking layered. But anyways, Old Henry.
Yeah. God. And it's basically this farmer and his son are, again, in this era of like the West has been tamed. It's one we're winding down. And it just so happens that
random stranger comes under mysterious circumstances that we're privy to, but they're not.
Right.
Tensions rise. And before you know it, we're essentially in an assault on Precinct 13, Rio Bravo esque scenario.
Right. And it speaks to me, it's almost saying like these stories were important if we're looking at this movie in the context of what a Western was to movies. They were important. They were the backbone of our entertainment industry for a solid 20 to 30 years. They were just, that's what we did. That was our story. As bad as it was, as shitty as it was, as what like America was, that's our story. We can't hide from it. We can't, sugarcoat it with, the Westerns of the past day and white people playing Indians and shit like that. But this movie is saying that I may have to trick you, but when you realize what this is and what we're doing, you're going to realize that this type of storytelling and trying to at least tell the American story as is, whatever it may be, a Western, something like Lorelei or a Killing of Two Lovers, whatever the American story is you're trying to tell, that's worth telling still. As much as it may be fraught with stuff and like may not be nice or anything that you may want to, if your story is uniquely American and it's something that you're passionate about, it's good to tell it. Because we talked about it with television and we've mentioned it with stuff like with other movies here today. There's tons of voices and we're hearing a lot of voices all over, but just something about this and the way it was shot, the reveal that's in it that I want to spoil, but I'm not. I say it all the time and it's cliche, but it is just you aren't always living in the best time to be entertained. And it does not matter. You can argue all you want about revisionist stuff and remaking shit with the Matrix, but this to me speaks as to why like 2021 was the year that this movie came out. We don't get movies like this anymore. So I'm glad that they're made in general. And if it makes people go pick up, Power of the Dog or any other Western thing.
You say it's coming back and like I say it's been happening for a little bit.
Yeah.
But a huge part of that we got to acknowledge is something that you just started taking part in, and I haven't even dipped my toe into, which is Yellowstone, which is a modern Western essentially, and then 1883, which is a period Western now, which are two of the biggest shows on television.
Yeah.
Still geared towards that audience that still remembers, like, oh, that was a thing. That used to be a staple of my movie diet.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd those things go? Well, now they're kind of on television.
Right.
But yeah, I hope, I just want more. I mean, we got, again, The Harder They Fall, Power of the Dog, Old Henry.
I'm sure there's another 2 or 3 in there we missed, but like,
yeah, great year for Westerns.
Yeah, and that's,
there's all, whether if you look around, there's usually a couple good ones.
And that's the thing, it's like, that was why I love The Harder They Fall so much, is because it's like, I wanted this story to be told before 2021. I know that was a thing, Yeah. We've talked about it before with, like, when we did the Run the Jewels thing. Killer Mike's been advocate that, like, African American people had the most power 7 years after Civil War because they were part of Reconstruction. So that there were people who didn't want to go back, people who had fought on one side that just said, I like carrying 2 guns on my side and living off the land. Fuck you. I'm out. Yeah. I'm going out west. So that's why I was so happy to see The Harder They Fall. And, like, there's a quote in there about, like, they did live. These were their stories, whatever. I can't remember what the exact quote at the beginning was, but I was like, yes, thank you. Perfect. That's saying exactly what it is. You're not showing me this as like oh, hey, look, it's a black Western. It's like, no, this is a fucking story. Whether or not these people are real or what, doesn't matter. Shit like this happened. This is not, white people don't get to take credit for all the Westerns too. Like, you have to tell those stories as well. And that's what I loved about that. But again, just what Old Henry's did and the way it faked me out. And the whole time I'm thinking, why do I fucking know this name? Why is that name stuck to me? And it wasn't until he made the comment about, like, no, it was only me in them parts. I was like, no, there's no way. And I didn't go look anything up. I was like, put my phone over here. I'm just going to be here and I'm going to see where this leads. And like I said, when it ultimately leads to, like, the siege part and here's the
thing. You remove that element, which we're still dancing around from the movie. It still totally works. It's still great. But the fact that is in there, it's a little chef's kiss.
Yes. It takes it from a good, solid 8.5, 9,
just
all the way
good old school Western to, like, holy shit.
Right.
That was fantastic.
And that's Tim Blake Nelson, who's amazing. But Stephen Dorff, yeah. He's great in it. There's a couple other bit players that you recognize from things that are really good in it. And
absolutely.
Yeah. My favorite of
huge
2021,
recommend.
Old Henry.
I will check in and see if that is streaming anywhere. But yeah. So just real quick while I am checking on that, why don't you give everybody a quick recap and rundown?
Okay. My number 10 was Army of the Dead. Number 9 was Mortal Kombat. 8 was Candyman. 7 was The Harder They Fall. Number 6 was No Man of God. Number 5 was Pig. And number 4 was... Where did I... Lorelei. Number 3 was Killing of Two Lovers. Number 2 is Suicide Squad. And number 1 we just discussed.
Old Henry, which is available right now if you have a Showtime subscription.
I think we have Showtime anytime. I'm going to have to watch that again.
Also, of course, available to rent on Prime Video for 99 cents right now. Quite the steal.
Go for it.
Yes. Okay. Real quick. Number 10, Matrix Resurrections. At number 9, I had Drive My Car. Number 8 was Mass. Number 7, I had Bond's Final Outing, No Time to Die. Number 6, Titan from Julia Ducournau. Number 5, The Killing of Two Lovers, some crossover with Gavin. Number 4, The Power of the Dog from Miss Jane Campion. Number 3, Licorice Pizza from PTA. Number 2, The Souvenir Part 2 from Joanna Hogg. And my number 1 was Bo Burnham's Inside. Everything I listed there, again, with the exception of Licorice Pizza, is available to watch streaming, except for Drive My Car, which will be available on March 3rd on HBO Max, which is probably how most people will want to take that 3-hour journey. I have an extended list. I might publish this on Instagram. A few other movies I did want to shout out. Again, you said retroactively it would have been on your list. We both watched Red Rocket within the last 24 hours, the new Sean Baker movie, which I was quite taken with. It is truly a tightrope of tone and appropriateness the entire time that I could not take my eyes off of. Simon Rex, again, in a Just World, would be in the 5 acting nominees. Just absolutely incredible performance. And again, these non-actors that Sean Baker continues to find to populate the margins of the movie are just so fucking good, dude.
The mom in Florida Project is a real actress, but the little girl isn't, right?
I think
but
everybody
Dafoe.
outside of Defoe and Caleb Landry Jones is his son for like one scene.
Yeah.
I think everybody are essentially found performers, as I understand it.
Wow.
And Tangerine, I don't think there's any professional actors. I think they're all...
Tangerine's the one he made on his iPhone, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, if we could get that guy and fucking Jeff
Talk
Nichols
about
together.
Talk about an unbroken streak, though. Sean Baker's just killing it. Red Rocket definitely does not have the heart that you may expect coming from Tangerine and Florida Project.
I watched it last night, and at 2 different times, my roommate came in and was like, "Why is Bye 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 playing again?"
At full volume.
Like, what is this? Why is she playing that on the piano with her tits out? What even is this movie about? I was like, I couldn't begin to tell you.
It's about Mikey Saber, bro.
It's Mikey Saber XXX. Google him. Just do it.
Yeah, Red Rocket is right now, just now available to buy. I think it's like $15 on Amazon. Probably gonna have to wait a little while for it to be rentable or streaming somewhere, but highly recommend people check it out. We will talk more in depth. That was my number 11. It was right there.
Wait, did you rent this or you bought it?
You had to buy it.
Bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it again. That's great.
I know. We had an Amazon gift card on the account, so.
The fucking, the chef one would have been on my list.
Boiling Point, which
Yes.
I wanted to shout out as well. That's my number 12.
It would have been on my list for real because I knew that one was a 2021, but I did not finish it. I fell asleep and it was already unrented by the time it was over with. So I don't know what happens.
My God.
Yes.
You don't know what happens.
No, I don't. So I'll finish that and
Oh, man.
we'll discuss.
Great movie. Boiling Point starring Stephen Graham. We talked about it briefly. I'm just going to round out at least my top 20. Might as well. Come On with Joaquin Phoenix, which I think you're just not going to hear about because I guess he decided not to campaign. He was like, I don't want to do it this year, but he would have been in the 5. Mm-hmm. But I think that's why you're not hearing about the movie really at all. I take it you just haven't caught it yet.
What?
Because when you're number 1, the way you were talking around it, and you were like, it's something you turned me on to, and I was like, did you catch up with it later, blah, blah, blah. Have you still, as of this moment, not watched Zola?
No.
It's on Showtime.
I need to get the fucking Showtime thing on my PS5 and just log in and watch it.
Okay.
Dexter
Zola was my number 14.
Zola would have probably been on my list too.
I feel like Zola would have been Gavin's number 1 movie.
Probably, yeah.
I can't wait to hear what he thought of it, but yes. Number 15, No Sudden Move from my boy Steven Soderbergh, who has already has another new one called Kimmy, which just dropped on HBO Max.
That was a good one.
Did you watch Kimmy already?
No Sudden Move.
Okay, I'm saying
that's a film. Kimmy's a movie, a motion picture.
He would
No Sudden Move is a
film.
But
that was the joke with No Sudden Move is he was like, it's a film, but it's presented as a movie.
Right.
It's a movie that's secretly a film.
This fucking guy.
Kimmy is a movie, though.
I thought he was done. Every fucking time this guy says,
dude,
I'm
he's
done.
making Magic Mike 3 later this year.
I know. Do you know how fucking excited I am for that, Noah?
I love that man so much. Kimmy is a great time, though. You should check it out so we can talk about it.
If they shoot that movie anywhere near here, I'm going.
A crisp hour and a half. Zoe Kravitz, tech thriller. You'll have a good time. It's good stuff.
Is it as good as Antitrust? Or Devs? Sorry.
Nothing tops Devs, baby. Okay.
I just told my new boss to go check out Devs today. She was like,
hell
yeah, okay, I'll go check it out. Like, just prepare yourself.
My number 16, I can't remember if we've talked about it at all yet. A Hero from Asghar Farhadi. Fantastic Iranian morality play. Great movie. That's available free on Amazon Prime for anybody who wants it.
Oh, okay. I know which one you're talking about.
Really good movie. Check it out. Also available on Amazon Prime, who had a pretty great year overall, I think. Annette from Leos Carax and the Sparks Brothers.
What about Encounter?
I still haven't watched Encounter. I need to watch Encounter. Rounding out my top 20, at number 18, The Green Knight. Have you seen The Green Knight?
Dude, I'm trying. Where is it streaming somewhere?
I think it's only rentable right now.
That's
I
the
don't know.
only
I
reason
saw
I
it
haven't
in
watched
theaters,
it.
man.
It's my
What a-
fucking namesake. I said this earlier this year. That was last year. It's my namesake. I have to fucking see this. It's my favorite Arthurian story, and I
can't wait to talk with you about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're not going to be able to fully put 2021 to bed. We're going to still be playing catch up. I feel like into this year. But
This is the giant list I had.
the massive list.
And Zola, the Val documentary, and The Green Knight were definitely on there.
Okay, number
Wrath
9.
of Man. Did you watch Wrath of Man?
No, I wanted to
Me
just
too,
for the
yeah,
heart note of
yeah,
it all.
me
But
too.
okay, number 19 was Suicide Squad, which you mentioned, and number 20. I just wanted to shout it out again because another one that I feel like just completely tanked at the box office, where in a normal year easily would have made like 150 mil, and luckily it still managed to pull out a lot of the awards nominations. King Richard
Mm-hmm. That's on my, yeah. That's
was fucking great, and I assume that will be circling back around to HBO Max.
yeah.
Or already has, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I'll stop there. I might publish this full list somewhere else so you can see the rest of the top 45 of good movies.
Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Godzilla vs. Kong was my number 24. One of my favorite blockbuster, big dumb action movies of the year. Had a great time with it.
What about Bad Trip?
Bad Trip was my number 21. Absolutely loved it.
What about The
Have you seen
Hitman's
Jackass
Wife?
Forever yet?
No, I want to. I'm not allowed to see that in theaters.
Okay.
Because if there are other people in the theater, it will be a problem.
Just a few other ones I do want to show out. Pig, which was on your list.
Yes.
Which I had near the card counter. Have you seen the card counter?
No, I want
With
to.
our boy Oscar Isaac. Check that out. Did you watch Nightmare Alley?
Yes.
Liked it?
Yes.
Didn't love it?
No.
Okay.
It was... I don't know if it's Bradley Cooper that I'm like, but...
I thought it was one of Cooper's best performances. Period. Not enough Jackson Maine in there for you? If you don't reach down in your fucking soul.
No, it's his...
All you gotta do is trust me.
I needed more of the bodyguard. Our boy from Holt
Holt McElhaney?
Yes, I needed more of him.
I mean, I thought he had some great bits.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Okay,
yeah,
but
I did appreciate
but
the camera
seriously,
work
though,
in that movie.
well, I mean, how could you not? But I'm looking back. I mean, Power of the Dog is obviously up there if we're going to talk endings.
Fuck yeah.
Titan is also up there. But I'm sorry, dude. The final shot of Nightmare Alley is one of the most fucked up things I've ever seen in a movie ever.
And guess what?
loved
Tim Blake Nelson's in that scene too.
He sure is, baby.
Because you forget about it, but Willem Dafoe calls it early in that movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In one of the best scenes of the movie. And you're like, why are we doing this here? And you're like, if you have half a brain, you're like, oh, this is coming back.
Yeah.
It's on HBO Max right now.
Yeah.
I gotta say, looking back, just speaking objectively and what I like to see from the dude, this is my favorite Del Toro since Hellboy 2: The Golden Army.
Yeah.
I like this more than Shape of Water. I like this more than Crimson Peak. I mean, I know Shape of Water won Best Picture, but
I never watched Crimson Peak.
it's solid. It's on Netflix right now.
Yeah.
If you want to check it out.
Nobody.
Nobody's in my top.
I enjoyed that.
Top chunk here.
I appreciate it.
Also on HBO Max as well. You guys can catch up with this. The Last Duel is also on HBO Max. I'll shout that out.
That was like right there for me.
Oh, I loved it in the theater.
It was so good.
It was higher up my list for quite a chunk of the year.
I fucking love how they cut to her and it's like the lady whatever.
The truth.
The truth.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yes, man. But like that was one of those where I was like, okay, how did they do this? How do you get like it's like a thing with acting. It's like when you watch Damon's performance as him, you're like, he's just a fucking guy looking out for himself. When you watch it with
from
Adam
driver's
Driver,
perspective,
he's
you're
like,
like,
fucking
fuck this
dick.
fucking guy.
Yeah, then, like you watch from her perspective, it's like,
You're like,
oh,
fuck both these fucking guys.
he is fucking cold as shit.
You're like, oh, they both suck.
yeah, they are both fucking terrible.
Yeah.
You know,
You're like, I guess I want him to win this duel so she doesn't die, but like, I don't really have a dog in the fight outside of her not getting burnt.
Fucking kill this dude and make sure your wife is okay. Then fucking go die in the Crusades a couple years later because nobody
have
fucking
the good
likes
decency to fuck off and die.
Have
Matt
the
Damon.
good taste to die,
Yes.
sir.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought it was great. Ridley Scott. And you know what's crazy? All these great ones. Maybe it's coincidence or not. I've said it once. You don't like me doing this, but fucking watching them and then listening to people talk to Mark Maron about them, they just enrich the film so much better. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Especially directors.
And as it relates to our list, I will also shout out the Cumberbatch episode where they essentially had a debate over Power of the Dog, which I thought was fascinating.
Yeah.
Because Cumberbatch is essentially defending his character and like, well, I don't see it that way at all. And Mark Maron's like, I get that you don't see it that way, but that's the way it is. you asshole, essentially, is what he's saying.
And I love that he took the time to be like, we're going to get into this. So if you don't want to hear this. And
he spent the whole like week in advance telling you, watch this movie because I want to talk to him about it. I'm not editing the episode.
Mm-hmm.
He did like the most long form spoiler warning.
Yeah.
Great episode. I think we can wrap it up there. Unless there's anything else you like desperately need to shout out.
I was just gonna add, just wondering where these things, where they landed for you, but now the Fear Street saga. I mentioned them as like what I watched around Halloween.
Never got to them.
I
Honestly.
would recommend them now that they're all out for anybody who loves horror movies and just has nothing to do for Netflix. If you want to save them to October, that's fine, but go and just watch all three of them back to back. They're just, it's fucking classic horror fun, dude. And I was going to put that as a saga as one thing. And then of course I started watching other movies and I was like, okay, you know, maybe we can just scoot this down a little bit. Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Again, solid throwback,
man.
Solid throwback thriller. Enjoyed it.
What about The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard? Did you watch
Didn't see it. Didn't see the first one.
Fucking hilarious, dude.
All right.
He's good in anything.
But just to put it in perspective, Those Who Wish Me Dead, which I was totally like, great, solid, again, like nice 90s throwback movie. That's my number 53 of the year. Just to put it in perspective. But I still enjoyed it.
Yeah. And then I've already made them out, but the Marvel stuff I did watch, it was good. I would say all of them. Shang-Chi's probably the best.
I think Shang-Chi definitely took the cakes.
I don't get what people didn't like about the Eternals. I thought it looked amazing. I
thought
appreciate
it
it.
looked like garbage. I was very upset with the visuals personally.
Really?
Did you watch it at home or in theater?
At home.
Maybe it plays better.
Yeah. Look, man.
Just saying, maybe it plays better smoothed out for streaming and everything. On the big screen, I was like,
You needed an IMAX?
Maybe, I don't know, dude. I mean, and it was like shot to shot, honestly. It was like, that looks good, that looks terrible, that looks good, that looks terrible. I have a lot of issues with that movie. We can't get into them now.
No, we don't
I
have
would
to.
be here for another hour and a half.
And I've said it before, I said it again. Black Widow, all these are up on Disney Plus now. Black Widow is worth watching.
Spider-Man will be there eventually, so
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, no, I still give the slight edge to Shang-Chi.
Just because it's
of the
fucking
bunch
good.
from this year.
It's fucking fun.
This is just a solid origin story and honestly some of the best action in the entire MCU. Some of the best fight choreography.
You excited for Moon Knight?
Very.
Me too.
Incredibly excited,
good.
actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any other ones I could think of. So, you want to give me your 2 by?
We can do that. Well, one last final one I will shout out because it's been a while and I can't remember if I brought it up much. My number 22 of this year, which just kept sticking around up near there. It's called Riders of Justice, starring Mr. Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, yes. I know this. Yes.
Is now on Hulu, which again is a deconstructionist revenge movie, quite unlike anything I've ever seen before. And if you are a fan of action movies or revenge movies, I think you just owe it to yourself to see it. That's all I have to say. Riders of Justice. That's the last movie I want to mention. Okay. So yes, we have pretty much closed the book on 2021. We, of course, kicked off January with Gavin's belated birthday bash. That's why we didn't have a 2x2. So we're launching 2x2 in the second month of the year, which only makes perfect sense. And we're going to announce right now the first picks kicking off the year. Again, the only rule is the film has to be at least 10 years old to qualify.
Mm-hmm.
What is your pick for the inaugural 2x2 retro review of Season 3? Very nice to say that now. This is the third season of doing this, man.
I want to go back in time, Noah.
I mean, obviously, we have to go back in time with any of these.
I want to take it back.
Take it back
to 2012. A little movie with Jordan Gordon-Lewis. Looper. I want you to watch Looper.
Looper is 2012?
It's 2012.
Has it really been 10 years
yes,
since
it
Looper?
has been. I think we can talk about it now.
Okay.
And, yeah, Looper.
Looper is on Netflix, which is good because for some reason I don't own this.
I own it. I got a Blu-ray, but yeah.
Thank you for giving me this gift.
You're welcome.
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't rewatched it in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to do a 20-year anniversary.
Oh, okay. What do we got?
It's
what do we got?
It's a two-hander as well.
Okay.
They're not the same person. Spoiler.
Ugh.
They are police officers.
Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
No.
The last of the finest.
No. One of them might be a little dirty.
Bad Lieutenant.
Port of call.
New Orleans.
No. 2002. Gritty. In your face.
You in the office, baby.
Where did this come from? Oh, no. That's 2001.
Oh.
Or is that 2000?
I don't know.
I don't know. You want to do that instead?
What are you? I'm trying to guess, but you're going to give me now.
It's in that vein. It's huffing the fumes of that, but the best version of huffing the fumes of that.
Is it Armored Car?
No. What is the best post?
Crash.
No. You're getting.
I'm so money. I just
warm.
don't know. No.
You're getting weirdly warm.
Are we doing Point Break?
No. But good. These are all great suggestions.
There's two cops. One of them might be dirty.
Yes. And this is a director who started out very strong, and we
To
like
Live
a
and
lot.
Die in L.A.
We did that.
I know. I just want to do it again.
This is a director who started out very strong, and I think has just been. I don't know what the story. Maybe he's difficult to work with. There's been a lot of like start and stop projects. And he's a guy who I think had a lot of promise initially. Great guess. No.
Two, All Saints Day.
Yeah, because they were cops in that movie. I'm giving you clues, and you're just not.
I'm stalling for time. I have no idea.
I told you were close when you said Crash. Does this help at all?
Hollywood Homicide.
Can you imagine if I made you watch Hollywood Homicide? Not a good movie. Not a good movie. Gritty. In your face. Shaky cam. Beloved 80s actor. Beloved 90s actor.
Oh, I know this.
Cameos by musicians. Your brother makes music under a name that sounds really similar to the title of this movie.
Rush. You're going to make me watch Rush.
We're doing Narc from 2002.
Yeah. All you had to say was fucking. You should have just said Joe. What's his face?
Joe Carnahan. I said a director who started out with a lot of promise, who we like a lot, who's just kind of had a raw deal.
All you needed to say. The clues I needed were two cops. One of them's dirty. The guy who made the A-Team. Boom. Narc.
Oh, I mean, I did. Yeah. But then we wouldn't have had all of this great content.
And you can have all these other movies you wished you were giving me? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, you just gave me a bunch of ideas. I'm just writing all those down. And, don't be surprised when they show up soon.
Yeah.
If you're happy
I mean,
with
if you
that,
want to step it up, we can do 2x2s anytime you want. 4x4s.
let's take it easy in our old age.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty solid pairing.
Yeah.
Looper and Narc.
Yeah.
One word. That's the commonality. One word titles that are essentially two-handers with guys just acting their asses off.
One word titles. Two-hander films.
One word, two hands.
10 years apart.
Yeah. Again, one's a 20, one's a 10-year anniversary. I cannot believe Looper is 10 years old. Fucking time flies, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But yeah, Narc. One of those. Think about, like, I saw that on DVD shortly after it came out. I was 12, bro.
Yeah.
I was 12.
I was 12.
What a fucking movie, man.
God, what? I would have been, 14?
Yeah, so it is,
Yikes.
I have a shitty full-frame DVD copy of it.
I think I do too.
But
I swear I just started watching it the other day and I fell asleep after the bathtub thing. Like, I remember watching that and going to sleep. Okay. And then for some reason, like a week later, I was like, I'm going to watch Rush. I've never seen Rush. I was like, oh, look, Sam Elliott's in this too.
Looks like it's available on Epic, so we'll figure out a way to watch it. But
you should get us Epics so I can fucking finish the War of the Worlds I've been trying to watch the Gabriel Byrne War of the Worlds.
We can figure out how to do that.
But you got to sign in as me, or like I can send you a gift card. I'll send you a gift card.
Next episode, folks, 2x2 Retro Review, Season 3, Episode 1, Narc and Looper. Check those out, and we'll be back to discuss those soon. And then shortly after that, we'll be back with an Oscar predictions episode, where we'll get more into
Clarp.
What's that?
If you put Narc and Looper together, it's Clarp.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of a way to mash them together. Sorry. Yes, the Oscars are coming up.
Because that's what we do with every 2x2?
They're one-word titles. They're two-hander movies. I'm just trying to figure out something fun. We do have the Oscars coming up, another fucking award show to be let down at. But, it is what it is.
Have you heard The Host?
No.
I was excited by those.
Who is it?
But other people apparently are indifferent or upset. I don't know.
Are they funny?
Amy Schumer, who I like, who I enjoy.
She's good.
But I'm going in ascending order, though.
Oh, it gets better.
But here's the question: is I don't know how you would flip-flop these next two. Wanda Sykes.
Okay.
I know everybody loves Wanda Sykes.
Yeah.
And Regina Hall.
Okay.
Those are your three hosts, apparently.
Fucking pandering.
Yeah, I was going to say, really, I'm like, it's one of those where I'm like, well, any of them could have done it individually.
Yeah.
They also could have done it in multiple pairs out of that group. But I also don't understand what the common thread is between any of them.
This is Hollywood saying, I'm sorry about me too.
Two stand-ups and a hilarious actress who's great in everything.
Yes.
I don't know. But yes, no.
This is the apologist Me Too choice. They're only doing it now. It's the apologist for Me Too, and it's the apologist for Chadwick Boseman getting snuffed out.
He wasn't snubbed. I wanted...
No, he was. I watched The Father. He was.
When did you watch The Father?
About a week after he won. No.
You didn't watch The Father.
I didn't watch The Father. I don't give a damn. I'll watch The Father any day, and I'll still tell you Chadwick Boseman should have won that Oscar.
I was fully prepared to come in here after watching The Father and say that they got it wrong and be incensed. And I watched The Father and I couldn't do it. They got it right.
No.
They got it right. They really did.
Yeah, well.
There's no accounting for taste.
There's no accounting for taste.
Okay.
That's just something...
Have you no decency?
That's just something...
Ampass. Have you no decency? Ampass. Okay.
I mean, come on, man. Really? You could have...
There's never been better proof that shit is not rigged, though, than that the entire broadcast was centered around him winning that award, and he didn't win that award. Like, you remember how they did Best Actor last?
Mm-hmm.
I know. Everybody thought he was going to win. Everybody.
Right.
Steven Soderbergh certainly did.
Yeah. Because he was fucking good. And guess what? We don't get another fucking movie from him. So maybe... I don't know, whoever reads the name, read the wrong one again, and you just tear the...
I think we do get one more, actually.
I don't think we do.
I'm pretty sure there's one more.
What would it be?
Why do I feel like there was one that was...
You
never
got his
mind.
voice in What If.
We
and that
got
was it.
lost in the weeds. We do need to end this episode.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Okay. This has been our 2021 favorite films.
Because we're Delta
List.
Airlines and life is a fucking nightmare. I should Bex that bit. Can I go home now? From fucking John Mulaney. We still need to have a discussion at some point about Station 11. I would love to have that discussion with you.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Can you tell me what I need to watch now? I need to go watch what? What did I say I was going to watch?
Oh, TV stuff?
No, movies. I need to finish the chef one.
Boiling Point.
Yes. I need to finish that one because I don't know what happens.
Right.
Tatane.
Zola.
Okay, yeah. Zola, Tatane, and then they...
Just listen back to this episode when I post it.
Well, yeah, man, I listen to everything I'm on. Stuff I'm not on, I don't. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
All right, so this has been our personal, convoluted, but meticulously crafted lists of favorite films for 2021. Hopefully, we can have the same amount of fun next year.
Gavin. They opened their podcast apps. They read the episode description. They chose to download or stream it. I say...
let them listen.